Welcome to the Plant Trainers Podcast, where we're helping people improve their quality of life through nutrition and fitness. And now, your hosts, nutrition and wellness coaches, international speakers, Adam and Shoshana Chaim.
Hey, I'm Adam Chaim.
And I'm Shoshana Chaim, and we are
Propelled by Plants. Today we bring to you episode 300.
Woo!
The power of positive feedback.
In today's episode of the Plant Trainers Podcast, we talk about how the positive feedback or the power of positive feedback has gotten us here to where we are today, episode 300. And I think that it's really important to recognize how everybody loves to hear feedback. When you're raising your children, when you're training your dog, when you're a boss in a boss environment, in a work environment, wherever you are, people love to hear things about themselves, but they also love to hear how they can improve. So when we talk about what we talk about today on the podcast, for example, all of your positive feedback and how it's been able to motivate us and bring us to where we are today, I want you to think about where you can bring more feedback into your life, who you need to share feedback with, how you can make sure that is positive feedback, how it's making them a better person, and try to pay it forward somewhere in your life and think about who deserves to hear something good, also who deserves to hear something about how they can improve, and how you can relay that information in a way to make them feel good about themselves and help them on their journey.
And I think we need to realize that feedback's not always going to be positive, and that's okay. It's how we react and use or adjust to the feedback that we're given. So a lot of great tips today, a lot of great feedback that we're going to share with you. Thanks for being here on our 300th episode. The show notes for today will be at planttrainers.com/300.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Check it out. Want to go plant-based without the worry of what to eat to stay healthy, even if you can't find the time to do the research?
Don't worry, here at Plant Trainers, we have you covered. If you're looking to up your athletic game and start training for a race and make sure you know exactly what to eat, Adam can solve your dilemmas and train you to the top of your game.
If you're trying to find the time to batch cook, figure out what to make to be sure you're covering all your nutritional bases and relieve anxiety with innovative stress techniques, Shoshana can get you feeling confident and in control.
So basically what we're saying is send us an email to info@planttrainers.com and we'll hop on the phone with you. For you, our amazing listeners, this is a complimentary call to get to know you better, see what your goals are, and let you know how we can help. No pressure, but a real connection.
What do you have to lose? A few pounds or less stress? Let's do this. Contact us at info@planttrainers.com. And now for a moment of gratitude.
I am grateful for you, Adam Chaim, who I think 5 years ago said to me, let's start a podcast. And I said no. And then 5 years minus a month, you said, let's start a podcast. And I said no. And so on until eventually I said yes. Just thank you for pushing me. Thank you for knowing what we needed, what I needed, and what the listeners needed. And I'm really happy and grateful that we are here today on the 300th episode.
As am I, and I'm grateful that you finally said yes to something that I put out there for you.
I was quicker to accept your proposal
I know.
Of marriage.
So, which is kind of weird. But I'm grateful today for the abilities that I've gained, the skills that I've gained to improve the quality of the podcast that we put out. And I think that the quality has gotten better as time has gone on. And I know through some of the feedback that we've gotten, it has. So I'm pretty grateful just to have learned what I've learned to be able to do what we're doing. We're on.
Let's do this. Number 300. That is insane.
It's pretty crazy and wild. I can believe because we've put in the effort, but we're at number 300.
300. I remember starting off at number 1 and we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't really know how to get guests on. We didn't know what direction we were going to go on and how long it was going to last. But here we are at 300. We've seen so many other great shows come and go in the last, 4.5 years almost?
Yeah, something like that.
A little bit over 4 years and 300 episodes. So we are so grateful that we're here on show number 300, but even more so that you're here with us, that you're listening. Some of you have been listening from the very beginning. Some of you we know because you've messaged us to say that you're going back, or you've started at the beginning and you're kind of going 2 a week backwards and forwards at the same time. We're just so happy that the information that we're putting out there seems relevant to you, can inspire you, and to help bring you on your journey.
Yeah, we've really come a long way. I mean, 300 episodes, we've covered a lot of different types of information, all with the thought of improving people's quality of life through nutrition and fitness. And we've covered many topics with many different guests, and the feedback has been pretty awesome all the way through.
Yeah, we've talked about, of course, plant-based nutrition, and we've kind of gone off into many different areas like heart disease, cancer, overall health, hormones, meditation, family, triathlon. We've covered a lot of bases.
Yeah, we've gotten into some general fitness aspects, and then we've given some fitness challenges that people have joined in on. We've also talked about bodybuilding, and then we moved into the kids section and talked about parenting and talking about kids' activities and things like that. There's just so many different subjects we've talked about.
One of the questions we get a lot on social media is all around meal prep and what to cook and how to cook it. So we've covered that in a lot of episodes as well. Of course, we've talked about mental health, as a lot of you know. With my PTSD, it's something that is very dear to me. So we've covered mental health from so many different aspects, from physical aspect to more meditation, to more hypnotic, to the foods that we eat, to our gut. We've really taken a lot of different routes when it comes to mental health as well.
And one of the things we've started doing in the recent months is adding in other people's transformation stories. I know we've shared our own stories throughout the last 8 years, and we know there's so many people out there that identify with different people and how they created change in their lives, and we're starting to look for those people and have them join us on the show so their story could impact someone else.
And of course, as you know, our story started by becoming plant-based for our health, but we have created a lot more compassion to the world, and we understand more about how our food choices and our life choices impact the world. So we have covered animal welfare, we have covered environmental aspects as well, and overall vegan ideas.
And I think moving forward, we're going to keep going with what we've been doing, and we're going to be continuing to look to have the top quality guests that we've been bringing to you, whether they're doctors or nutrition experts other than us, and athletes, transformation stories. We're looking to find people that are interesting to you. So if you're listening right now and you know somebody, or maybe even you yourself have some type of transformation story that you want everybody to hear, reach out to us. We've been getting a ton of feedback from people that has really helped us direct into who we should have on the show, what we should be talking about. And that's the beautiful thing about being able to connect with our listeners, our audience, the people that follow us on our different social media platforms, is that we're putting out content that is really content that our audience wants to hear about, learn about, but it's also content that we want to learn about and hear about. So the feedback's really important to us, and we really appreciate all the feedback we continue to get.
Right. And for example, if your cousin happens to be Bruce Springsteen and you can bring him on the show, by all means, send us an email connecting us. But a lot of people do ask, jokes aside, how we do attain all of these amazing guests. And a lot of them we meet at conferences that we're either attending or speaking at. We're relentless sometimes, and we're in people's inboxes galore. And then sometimes the universe just brings them to us, and we wake up in the morning and see that somebody's found our Calendly, or, somebody's finally responded, or somebody's reaching out to us on their own saying, hey, we've heard of the Plant Trainers podcast. We'd love to be on it. So if there's somebody who you'd love to hear, let us know. And if you have a connection to them as well, please share.
So we wanted to really put out a thank you to everybody who has been giving us feedback, because without your feedback, it's very difficult for us to decide what direction to go in and how to make change in making our content better for our listeners. So those of you that are emailing us, continue to do so. Those of you that are sending us DMs on our social media, on our Instagram or Twitter or on our Facebook page, please continue to do that. Those of you that are leaving us reviews and ratings on iTunes or Apple Podcasts is what it's called now, please continue to do that because it's helping us stay motivated in what we're doing. It's helping us decide the direction to go. And it's also giving you a voice into the content that we're putting together for you.
Some of the things that we hear from people is that we always leave them with actionable tips. So people are able to make changes that are on their level, different options for different people. We hear that people have lost a ton of weight by listening. But what I wanted to say is, they say they thank us because they've been able to lose so much weight because they've been listening. But really, they're the ones doing all the hard work. They're the ones showing up every day. They're the ones starting to exercise, changing what they're eating, all of those other things. So, we just want to say congratulations to all of you out there, whether you've shared with us or not. Any change that you've made, it's all been you. We're just giving you some information, but you're the one that's choosing to wake up in the morning and take action. Like whether people say, we'll get messages saying, hey, I decided to go 90% plant-based. And then 5 weeks later, they'll write back saying, okay, I decided to do 100% after listening to your show or your video on Instagram or what have you. But really, it's them that's doing all the work. And it's a huge congratulations to all of them or all of you.
We've also had people say, they used to listen to our show and they realized that the information we're putting out has been pretty solid. So we've become a regular part of their podcasting rotation. And that's just something that we really love to hear because that means that we truly are providing quality content and making an impact. So if you're someone who's new to the show, welcome. And there are definitely some great episodes that you can go back to. I mean, we're at 300 now. That's kind of crazy. So there's a lot to listen to. Obviously, we don't ask you to go back and listen to all 300, but go through the catalog and find something that sparks your interest and go for it.
So there's a few ways that you could do that. Number one, you could go straight to Apple Podcasts and find the Plant Trainers podcast, and it will have all 300. Does it have all 300?
I believe Apple Podcast cuts you off at 300 and then you start losing that first episode.
Because number 3 and number 6 are our favorite.
I know, but you can always go back on our website at planttrainers.com and do a search for PTP001 if you want to hear episode number 1, for example, or just put in the number in the search bar and it'll populate.
And then if you wanted to hear about hormones, or you wanted to hear Olympic gold medalists, or you wanted to hear doctors, whatever it is that you're interested in hearing about, you could also go to planttrainers.com and just go into that search bar and put in whatever it is that you're looking for. And it will give you videos, podcasts, and blogs, whatever there is in that area. So you'll be able to find things that interest you. So if you don't know where to start, that's a good place to start as well. We also wanted to give a special shout out on Instagram to @PlantMunch, the Window Side Muse. What? The Window Side Muse. It's hard to read. Ride Bikes, Eat Food, So Body UK, Plant-Based Colleen. These are people who are constantly commenting on our Instagram stories, reposting some of our posts, putting them on their main page, putting them on their Instagram stories, but really supporting us, but also supporting their peeps by reusing some of the content that we're creating. And that's really great because we spend a lot of time creating the content. So if it can reach more people, we really appreciate that. But your support means everything. There's so many more of you who are constantly commenting, and we really do appreciate that too.
We appreciate how much you care. Because of your contributions, no matter how big or small, you've helped us to cover hosting and production costs, as well as give a bright young intern a chance to work with our compassionate company. For those of you who want to help support the show, support learning opportunities for young plant-based students and compassionate causes, you can do so at patreon.com/planttrainers or click the link in the show notes. We've also gotten a lot of great feedback from people that have listened to us talk about our personal stories on other people's shows. And we have a whole list of all the other shows and articles that we've been featured in on our website, on our media outlet page. And I'll put a link to that in our show notes in case you want to go back and listen to that. But some of the other shows that we've been on include Jacked on the Beanstalk, The Yogi Triathlete, Plant Yourself Podcast with Howard Jacobson, Main Street Vegan with Victoria Moran, and there's just a whole list of other ones.
And the reason why we're mentioning them today specifically out of the other ones is because they are top quality shows as well. And we're just so grateful to have that opportunity. And they have a lot of great content that you might enjoy as well. I write for VegWorld Magazine and Thrive Global. A lot of you have heard of Thrive, but if you haven't heard of VegWorld Magazine, they're doing amazing things to get amazing content out for you. It is a subscription magazine. I don't get anything for telling you to go ahead and check out VegWorld Magazine and think about getting yourself a subscription, because the content in there from so many of our colleagues is just top-notch recipes. It's really, really great. We also wanted to let you know that there are so many companies out there that are reaching out to us to review their products. So what we wanted to tell you about that is that we let them send it to us if we think that it may fall in line with our values, may fall in line with what we would feed our own family or ourselves, and what we would want to tell other people about. And when it comes to us, we only share it with you if it's great. We only share it with you if it's something that we will use ourselves. As long as it's here in Canada. It might be in the States, and when we go to the States, we might be able to use it. But what I'm trying to say is that when we do share specific brands with you, it's because we support them, and we are giving you that information because we do have a lot of people asking, well, what do you buy for this and what do you buy for that? So I know that it makes it easier to know what brands you can trust. So we share brands that we trust with you.
So as you can see, a lot of what we're doing today is talking about feedback, and we wanted to obviously thank everybody for their continuous feedback, mostly positive. When it's not positive, that's okay too. It lets us know how to get ourselves back on the right track. But we wanted to give you some feedback and appreciate that you take the time out of your day to drop us a comment, to let us know how we're doing. That really means a lot to us. And it really keeps us driving forward in continuing to put out the content that we're putting out.
Even if it's something more on the advice side, like we can't stand the way Shoshana says hummus, or we don't like the voice in the intro. Those kinds of things, we've got thick skin. We love to hear it. We love to take your advice. I mean, the advice of one is the advice of one. And I'm not going to stop saying the way that I say hummus, but it's fun to hear those little things that kind of drive you crazy as well as the good things. So whatever it is, we are here for you. We're creating this for you.
You mean like the feedback we got when we were talking about our meal and fitness planning podcast, and it sounded like we were yelling at each other down each other's throat, and they were upset that we got into a fight on the air?
I told you somebody was going to say something about that.
And it's okay. We were confrontational a little bit, but
if we were just faking having the same opinion for the sake of good podcasting, I think that's actually bad podcasting.
I mean, we're being real.
But I guess she felt our emotions because my blood was boiling a little bit that day.
Yeah, and that's okay. And that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still down here spending time together. We're getting great conversations put through to our audience with awesome guests, or when it's just us like today, it's still good conversation. And we're bringing out the best in each other and spending time together. And I think that's part of why we do this.
So if you're inspired to give some feedback today, it doesn't have to be to us. Maybe there's somebody else in your life that you want to go and give feedback to. If you do want to give some to us, you could always email us at info@planttrainers.com, or you could go to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review, which we always appreciate. And find us on Instagram, find us on Facebook, and you could let us know there as well, and let us know how we can help improve your quality of life without coming to your home, cooking all the food for you, and slapping on your running shoes for you.
And also we should say that we're not just on Apple Podcasts. We're on every platform that you could probably think of. If you use Spotify, we're there. If you use iHeartRadio, we're there. If you use Stitcher, we're there. Whatever platform you're using, we're most likely there. And if you are using a platform that we're not on, please let us know and we'll make sure to get onto that platform. So today's episode 300, we're not stopping here. We're not done. We have a lot more coming. We have some more transformation stories. We have a lot of great doctors and other athletes and guests coming your way. So continue to stay on top of us. Continue to follow us on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Find us on any podcast platform and continue to provide feedback because we love it.
Yeah, and our 300 level episodes are coming your way. And please take the power of feedback and pay it forward in whichever way you feel that you are called to do today. Thank you all so much for listening to this edition of the Plant Trainers Podcast. We want to make sure that you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform.
We really appreciate the feedback we receive from you every time we get a 5-star rating or review on iTunes from one of our fans. It really helps other people find us just like you did.
Thanks so much to our patrons. To become a patron, visit us at patreon.com/planttrainers. Even supporting us with $1 really makes a difference in the quality of the show.
And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is @PlantTrainers. Like Plant Trainers on Facebook, join our newsletter, and check out our website at planttrainers.com for awesome recipes, a list of our services, and of course, our latest podcast.
We encourage you to email your questions to info@planttrainers.com so that we can help you improve your quality of life through nutrition and fitness.
So we hope we've inspired you today. Join us again next time
and
have a healthy day. Or is that too corny?
It's a little cheesy.